Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in. Today is Wednesday, May 13th. We are going to be hosting 20-Minute Trader TV today. I am your host. My name is Lance. If you've been here before, welcome back. Good to see you again. If this is your first time, thanks for stopping by. We're going to be doing some live trading for you guys. We also have a very, very special guest coming on in just a few minutes. I'll just kind of give you the rundown of what this is, why I'm here, and then we'll kind of dive in. So I'm here doing some live trading. I've been a 20-minute trader for the last 2.5 years. And Jeremy Russell, you may have seen his face online. He's our founder. He had asked me to do some live trading for you guys. So you can all see a over-the-shoulder inside look as to what a 20-minute trader would do each and every day, what the pattern looks like, and just to see if it might be something you're interested in. Now, 20-minute trading as a whole, we like to describe it as a trading movement created for the beginner/non-trader to get into trading into the markets in ways that aren't super intimidating and also ways that don't require a ton of chart time. Now, hence the name 20-Minute Trader. We are only on the charts for about 20 to maybe 30 minutes per day. It's not required. Sometimes my day is over in 2 to 3 minutes. Either way is totally fine. It doesn't require a huge technical system that takes weeks and months to learn. It's a simple, repeatable, shape-based system that we're looking for the same thing on the same charts about at the same time every day. And it only requires a simple internet connection, no fancy software or anything like that. So on our charting platform right here, you guys will see my screen there. And as you guys have questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments or the chats, wherever you're tuning in from. And I'll do my best to get to each and every one of those questions here. So on the charts, you will see a couple of lines here. We are on a 1-second time frame chart. Now, it may seem a little bit crazy. You might be thinking, how am I supposed to keep up with a 1-second chart? Just stick with us here. The reason why we're on a 1-second chart so that we can see the very small, intricate movements in the market. If we're on a larger time frame, like an hour-long time frame, we'd have no idea any of this is actually happening. All right, so we are trading on tradingview.com, which is my charting and execution platform. Now, the blue line on my charts is going to be the S&P 500 futures. And when I say futures, we are trading in the futures market. All right, we're not trading crypto. This is not Forex. Trading in the futures market, which is really cool. We'll dive into a lot of the benefits a little bit later. But blue line is the S&P 500. Many of you guys know that, what the S&P 500 is. The orange line is going to be the Dow Jones, another index. We're not actually trading the orange line. We're just using it to spot patterns. But in any sense, we have our blue and our orange lines to help us spot the signals. Now, this white line here is going to be the RSI, or the Relative Strength Index. You don't need to know all the details behind it. If you want to know, just ask me. But just know that if the market movements are stronger to the upside, this white line will be towards the top. And if the market movements are going stronger to the downside like they are now, this white line will be towards the bottom. All right, so on our chart, you'll see these lines here, these trend lines. Trend lines are essentially just showing you the average direction of that line over the last couple of minutes. All we're looking for are these blue and orange trend lines to be going in different directions. So right now, that is not the case. We see them going in very parallel directions, both to the downside. I want to see any combination, right? Blue line down, orange line up, vice versa, one flat, one pointing up, whatever the combination may be. We're always going to be trading in the direction of the blue line. Okay, so right now, if the blue line is down, the orange line goes flat, I think price would go lower because the blue line is pointing down. Right, so that's how simple the system can be. We're just waiting for that to occur. And then from there, I'm just looking for a little dip or a drop in the RSI to give myself a little bit of a discount in the entry, and then I'll look for a continuation. So we're going to look for a couple of trades here. Hopefully we can get a trade, and then I'll bring on our special guest here just to give his insight, and it should be a good one, guys. So we are seeing the blue line going down, orange line is up. I'm going to actually bet on price going down further here at this point in time. Now I have my take profit and stop loss, right? My stop loss will actually be up above because I'm betting on price going down. My take profit will be down below at this blue line here. So if we hit that blue line, we will make a profit of, looks like maybe about 50 to 75 bucks. And if we lose, we will lose about the same. So right now we're kind of fluctuating between break even. You'll see the dollar amount here in the middle line. That's where I entered in on. So this is a short trade. right? Betting on price going down after I buy. That's one of the benefits with futures, is that we can make money on both sides of the market if it goes up or down. We don't need to worry about, the news that's going on or anything like that. So right now we're currently in profit about 37 bucks. We just need it to drop a little bit more, guys. Just a little bit more. One more little inch. And there we go. That trade. So we made 50 bucks on that trade. Not a bad start. Just getting the juices flowing there, right? But how did I know it was going to drop from exactly where I entered? I took my best guess because of the relationship between the blue and the orange lines. So I hope that's kind of making some sense. We're going to take a couple more of those trades, hopefully. Without further ado, I'd love to bring on my guest here. Now, this guest is very, very special because he is probably one of the first 10 people that understood what this pattern was, that was shown this pattern by Jeremy. So you get a very, very exclusive insight as to one of the first 20-minute traders. He's worked with a couple thousand, probably over 3,000 students at this point, and he is running our boot camps for our very, very advanced 20-minute traders as well. So without further ado, Chris Watson, everybody coming on.
Wow, there's an applause. I love it.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah. Just for the record, Lance was a student. He's been trading with 20-minute trader for a long time, but he was one of the most enthusiastic students we had. And Jeremy was like, hire that guy. So Lance has been with us ever since. So Lance is one of our stable, one of our really good traders.
Yeah. So kind of, if you want to maybe share, what did you trade before 20-minute trade? Just kind of give an insight as to what got you started and, your kind of story there.
Yes. So I've never traded before. Jeremy, I've known Jeremy for about 25 years now, and something happened in like 2020. I can't remember. Something globally happened. Oh yeah, there was this thing called a pandemic that happened.
Yeah. That small thing, yeah.
So anyways, Jeremy and I reconnected, and I had a studio in Los Angeles, and he needed a place to do some artwork. So I was like, hey, come over here and do it. So he did, and his phone was literally ringing off the hook left and right. And I was like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I found this pattern in the stock market. And everyone wants to know what it is. And this is before 20-minute trader. I was like, oh, cool. He's like, you want to know about it? I was like, no way, man. I don't want to know anything about the stock market. And so he would come over, 3 or 4 times a week, and his phone was literally ringing off the hook. And then I was like, all right, teach it to me. So I learned the pattern. I started trading it kind of casually for like the first couple months. It wasn't like a way to make money. It was more of a way to go to Vegas every morning and just have some fun. So I was playing with like $100, and then at some point I got really good at it. And my wife and I were traveling through Europe, and I was like, oh, I could be anywhere in the world and trade. This would be like a total financial freedom. So I called Jeremy. I was like, hey, I'm going to be your best. I'm going to be your best trader. So he's like, do it. So I learned the pattern. I learned it like I discovered it myself. But I would call him all the time. I'm like, hey, what when this happens, and we see this and this and that. So at one point, I got really good at it, and now I can be anywhere in the world. I'm currently in Vienna right now. 2 weeks ago, I was in Venice, and then usually every summer I go to Ireland. So it's kind of it's been really cool to be able to teach students and be anywhere in the world.
Awesome. Yeah, and one of the cool things about futures, guys, as well, one of the added benefits is that you can trade this at any time of the day. So when we say 20-minute trader, it's not like you have to be on, right as a market opens or at a very specific time. We have people that trade very early in the morning. We have people that trade with me here now. We also have people that trade later at night, so depending on where you are in the world and what your work schedule is, not even with 20-minute trader, but just futures trading in general, it's very flexible in terms of the time frame. So that's something really important as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So right now we're using a prop firm. Do you usually like prop firms over your own capital? I know you traded with your own cash in the past, right?
I love trading with prop firms. I used to trade my own cash, and I couldn't sleep at night. I would have like $100,000, and I would trade the pattern with 100K every morning, and I'd almost have a bit of a heart attack. Now I have $1 million of funding in prop firms, and I can sleep at night.
There you go. Now you guys might be thinking, okay, $1 million in funding. Well, who does he know? Obviously, he's in Jeremy's back pocket. I promise you that's not the case. Well, actually, I don't know for sure. I'm just kidding. But in any sense, right? Prop firms to get to those types of numbers, if you kind of heard us speak about it, um, I currently have one account right now for the zero to payout challenge. Balance is 50,400, give or take. Now, do I have 50,000 that I put into a cash account? That's not what I did, and that's also not what Chris did. He doesn't have $1 million in the bank, just sitting there to trade. So what we do is we utilize these prop firms that will give us access to large amounts of capital for very little of our own funds, right? So a $50,000 challenge account for me in certain prop firms will cost anywhere from $40 to maybe around 100, right? So just because I give them the entry fee of $40 doesn't mean they just send me 50 grand or $1 million in the mail. It means that they give me an evaluation account, a test to see that you know what you're doing. The goal of that challenge is to get from 50 to 53,000. If you can do that, then they will give you the real capital to where you can start to take profits from, where you, the trader, will keep 90% and they will take 10% for giving you the ability to do so, which is very nice. Now, one 50K account, how does that translate to a million? Well, certain prop firms will allow you to have up to 20. Apex Trader Funding allows you to have up to 20 50K accounts. So if you do the math on that, 20 times 50K, that's $1 million. And Chris is doing what's called copy trading, right? Where he takes one trade on one account and it takes the exact same trade across all 19 other accounts, 20xing his profits or his losses. Got to remember that. But for example, on that last trade that I made $50 on, it might seem like nothing, right? Even though it took me 10 seconds to make that, it might seem small, but $50 times 20 accounts, that's $1,000 in the same 10 seconds that it took me to make that. So really, really powerful stuff. So Chris, I guess maybe if you can share, how long did it take you to get to $1 million in funding? Was it kind of quick, or? I don't know if you muted yourself there. Can't hear you.
Check 1 2. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yep.
All right. All right. So I run a boot camp in 20-minute trader. That means students, they want to get like hyper focused and learn it in a fast amount of time. And then I give them assignments and they do this. One of the assignments is to get funded. So to get $1 million of funding, you have to pass a couple tests. Literally, the way I did it, it took me about 2 weeks to get $1 million of funding.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Imagine saying that, guys. Imagine being a 20-minute trader and going to your friends saying, I have $1 million in trading capital. They're gonna be like, what? What are you talking about? They're gonna think you're crazy. But then you're gonna tell them you know Chris Watson, and then they'll be like, ah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But no, that's awesome. Yeah, for me, it took me a little bit longer to get to those numbers, probably a couple of months. I was more slow up to start, didn't have really a ton of capital to start with. Also kind of figuring out the prop firm landscape. But it's one of those things, guys, where you don't start with that, you reinvest your potential profits into that, and it's kind of a snowball effect. All right. Even if you had 3 to 5 accounts, I mean, just that alone, making a couple hundred, a few thousand a month could be absolutely life changing. So there's no reason why you need to have $1 million in capital, but it is definitely something to strive for.
Well, yeah, I would like to admit, I'm kind of talking, maybe putting the cart in front of the ox. The way it works is you really do need to learn the pattern first.
Yeah.
So what Lance does, I don't think it takes that hard. It doesn't take that long to learn, but you do have to learn the pattern.
Yeah.
And then you have to be comfortable with it, and then you have to trust it.
Yeah.
Then you have to be able to do the next step is, get a prop firm and then understand that. And then maybe get 2 prop firms or 2 accounts in one prop firm and then copy trade it. There are baby steps it takes to get to that point, and I don't want it to sound like, oh yeah, in 2 weeks you'll have $1 million of funding. I'll be making 50K a day or anything like that.
Yeah, 100%. But I see some questions here about the pattern. So the reason why I wasn't really looking at any patterns because the lines were moving more parallel. What we see here, we want to see a difference in direction of our trend lines. Blue line is going up, orange line is staying flat. I just want to see a little drop down. There it is of my RSI. So I'm going to bet on price actually going higher right now. Right, so I have my take profit up above. I have my stop loss down below. So if I hit this red line, it's kind of hard to see with this chart zoomed in, but see this kind of red box up here. If it goes there, that will be my take profit. And if it hits my red line down here, that will be my stop loss, and it will close me out for a losing trade. But I'm betting on price going higher because we see the blue line up as the orange line is pointing down, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. What are your thoughts on this trade here, Chris? What are you thinking?
I'm analyzing it right now. I think it looks pretty good.
I think I jumped in a tad bit early. So what I'm going to do, guys, is if the trade goes into profit, I'm going to slide my stop loss into profit. So that worst case scenario, I make money. That's a great worst case scenario. Best case scenario, I make the full take profit. So let's see if we can just get ourselves into a little bit of green here. Right now we're at that break even point. But yeah, I definitely jumped in a touch too early. So we see 25 bucks. I'm going to slide my stop loss to break even. So that worst case scenario, I lose $0. I'm going to start to slide it in profit, secure myself about 20 bucks, whatever it is, right? I'm fine with that. And there it is. Full take profit. There we go. That's awesome. So another 50 bucks there. Again, just these small base hits can add up. And if we're taking 2 to 3 $50 trades, 150 bucks, times that by 10 accounts, that could be a fantastic day. Let me get to some questions here. Wondering if you know any excellent trading programmers. I don't know any programmers off the top of my head, fortunately. Monish, today is my birthday. Happy birthday to you. Thanks for celebrating with us. Is it possible to set up other applications like Fidelity with some charting data? Potentially. Some of those accounts might not be set up for like day trading, like very quick style of trades. There are other brokers and platforms out there that might be more suitable, but I don't use Fidelity, so I wouldn't be the best person to ask on that. We are trading the S&P 500 from LK. Yeah, and if anything you guys are seeing right now sounds interesting, if you're like, I like that style of trading that seemed actually pretty simple, comment the word more if you're on Instagram or Facebook. We're going to DM you an absolutely free ticket to our upcoming web class. So after you comment the word more, just check out for your DMs for that ticket. You can get your questions answered live there. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, just click the link in the description and claim your absolutely free ticket. I definitely don't want to miss that. See how you can be a part of this whole movement, this trading movement. And yeah. All right. I think that was a good trade.
I thought that was a great trade.
We're going to have our 350 here. You think market's going to go up or down? Place your bets.
Well, we are coming up on like a kind of a no trade zone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you keep the no trade zone, but
I do.
Okay.
I do.
The no trade zone for a 20-minute trader is Eastern time after 350. So if you're in the market at 350, you are risking it.
Yeah. So the 350, sometimes there's a news event towards the market close, which will have the market spike in a single direction. We don't know what that would be. Now, yeah, it might help you out in a trade, but it also might hurt you, right? So there you are. If you were in long, that hurt. If you're in short, it's the best idea ever, right? So you don't want to be playing that game right there. We did have, I think today, the Fed chair has been announced that they're going to be switching the guys. So whatever that means for the market, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. So we see the blue line going down as the orange line is flat. So in my mind, price would probably want to continue lower, right? So that's really what I'd be looking for here. Now, Chris, do you have any tips for any words of wisdom for certain trades and anything you've noticed along the way?
Well, a question I get asked a lot is, um, oh, 75 bucks? You made 75 bucks? Whatever. And I find that it's very easy to make 75 bucks. And whenever like we try to scale up, and instead of making 75 bucks, we try to make 300 bucks, it just gets a little bit harder. So 75 bucks with the pattern is fairly easy to make. And what we do is we just add accounts and we copy trade. So that's a question I get asked a lot. Like, if you wanted to make if you can make $75 in one account, easy. Why can't you do that in 20 accounts? Why can't you do that in 5 accounts? So that's the way we kind of set up the system.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you always see you see the flashy numbers of 2,000, 5,000 in a single trade. And while yes, that's good, if you go through a losing streak, what does that really look like? You want to be able to have your accounts long term. All right, so with these prop firm accounts, your max loss, meaning worst case scenario for you, is to lose $2,000. So if I start at 50, if I hit 48, nothing bad happens, but they say, okay, this is not, it's not going well. You need to restart. So just like any investor, they'd have a limit for you, right? Because they're not just going to lose all their money. So essentially, the worst thing that happens is that you lose that initial $35 to $100 investment that you put in to the account, and then you could simply pay to try again. But my point being is that if we can do the $50 trades or $50 losses, $100 losses, we have 20 to 40 trades to lose before we hit that loss limit. And realistically speaking, in my experience, I've never lost 10 in a row, more than 10 in a row, I don't think. I don't know about you. It looks like the longest losing streak you've been on.
I forgot. I don't try to remember those.
Yeah.
But
It was 20 in a row, though.
well, here's the thing. What I really preach and what I teach a lot is what is your winning, like what is your winning percentage on a trade? So every trade I take, I mark it as a win or a loss. And if I'm 75% right, then I can kind of build my income around that 75% win rate. If it's 52% win rate, I can build my income around having a 52% win rate. So I really teach people, learn the pattern and then practice trade it and see what your winning percentage is. Once you know what that is, we'll try to get it better. But if it's above 50%, you can make an income on it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the reason why is because our trades are typically even in terms of loss and profit. So we always lose about the same that we make. So like you said, if anything above 50% by definition would be profitable. So that's why we're not needing to be 95% win rate, you know, just no strategy that is 100%. If it is, run very far away from whoever's telling you that, from my experience. But yeah, we've taken two trades. It's been 15 minutes of us trading. We're up about $100, and it's not bad. It's really not bad at all, especially when you start copy trading. I want to see if anyone has any other questions here in the chats. Yes, 75 on one contract. That's right. Now we see a pretty good pattern forming. I think I may have missed it. The blue line is flat as the orange line is down. Well, actually, not really. So that would mean that we're going for a long trade, meaning that price would go up after we buy. I don't really see the cleanest entry point for me. Also, we see that the market's been pushing down pretty heavy. So sometimes it's not the best idea to take trades that go against the trend. You know, it's not required by any means, but being being safe is what I'd like to do here. What's the average win rate? Yes, I don't have the average win rate on hand. I can speak from only my personal experience, as everyone is different, and it's hard to keep an accurate report of everybody's trades. So for me, I'm typically in the mid to low 70s from what I've seen. If I stick to my rules and everything like that, if I'm not going off the rails, That's typically where I'm at. Do you know where you're at, Chris? Kind of the same, maybe a little bit more.
I shoot for $200 both ways, so I'm either gonna make 200 or lose 200.
No, like what's your win rate typically? Like over a long period of time, do you know?
Yeah, it kind of fluctuates through seasons, but I would say right now I'm at about a 72% win rate.
Yeah.
There'll be months and months where I'm like 88% win rate, and then there'll be a month where I'm like 53% win rate.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to say because it fluctuates.
No, 100%. And that's definitely why we wanted to do this for you guys, is to show you the ins and outs and the ups and downs. It's very easy to post videos after the fact saying, "Look at this trade that I won," and all that stuff. But if you're doing it live, it's the most authentic way possible, and it's what trading really is. So that's why I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this and you would stay along the journey here. How many micros are you placing on your bet? So this is actually the mini contract, which would be a little bit larger. But if this were micros, it would technically be 10 micros on these specific trades. 10 micros or one mini is what I'd be doing here. But typically at this time, market starts to slow down quite a bit, although the market doesn't close until 5 p.m. Eastern time. It's just weird. Sometimes it correlates with the stock market to where volume just drops off at 4 o'clock. So in terms of trades, we can see if we get one more potential setup here. But in the meantime, I would love to hear kind of, Chris, I asked both Kyles this, like what's their best piece of advice being a trader for the last couple of years? What's something you wish you knew before joining 20-minute trader or just after the fact?
It's weird because I think it's hard to say it in a way that makes sense, but trading is actually really easy, but the mindset is the thing that one needs to kind of conquer. So when I first started trading, it was just really easy. I was just making money, and I didn't think I could lose money, in a bad way. And then I had a major brain fart, I guess, as one. I think that's the scientific term or technical term.
Probably. Yeah.
So I had one of those days where I canceled my stop loss and I ended up losing more than I should have. And then I had to recover, and it took a while, but it took a while to get it to make it simple again and make it not so significant or serious. Now that I have fun doing it, it's like, sometimes I even place a trade, I leave the room and I come back, because if I watch the trade, I get nervous. So I just forget it, leave, come back 5 minutes later, and 8 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 times, it's green.
Nice. Yeah, that is something I always say as well. It's like, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? The pattern itself it's 2 or 3 steps, right? We're just looking for these lines to be in different directions. Once we see that, we're just looking for a little drop in our RSI to get a little bit of a discount, and we're jumping in. So there's literally 2 or 3 steps. It's just the fact of, like you said, sticking to risk management, and when you lose a couple of trades, not crashing out and losing all of your accounts in one day. So that's the hard part for sure. But the strategy itself makes it so simple. It takes the heavy lifting, in my opinion, finding a strategy out of the equation. So that's good. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not in a trade right now. I've taken 2 trades, but I'm not in anything right now. Target profit for the day. I don't really have a target profit. It's more of a trade limit for me, like trade number limit. I usually stop at 3 or 4, depending on honestly where my P&L is at. So right now, since we've taken 2 trades and we're already towards the end of the session, it's one of those times where I say, yeah, I'll probably just take my 2 wins and I'll be done. I don't need to chase, $300 if the market didn't give it to me. So I go for more of a trade limit and not really off my P&L, and that's worked for my mindset as well. Again, if you guys want your questions some more questions answered live on how you can be a 20-minute trader, comment the word more on Instagram or Facebook, and then check your DMs. We're going to shoot you an absolutely free ticket to the upcoming web class. And if you're on YouTube or Twitch, just click the link down in the description. go claim your absolutely free ticket to the class and get your questions answered live there. Yeah, I think I'll kind of call it there for the trading, Chris, right? What do you think? You just take the two trades and kind of run, yeah?
Well, I mean, the market's closed. I guess we can still trade, but you never know what's going to go on right now.
Yeah,
I would take the two trades and um, take a walk.
sure. I think
Take
that's
your take someone on a date.
there you go. Yeah, I will take Chris's advice. He's been doing this way longer than me, so I will take his advice for sure. He's actually one of the first people that was kind of helping me as a student, so that's really cool to see it kind of come full circle and me kind of be working alongside him. So that's really awesome. But
It
yeah,
is awesome.
it is. Anything else you want to say, Chris, to the folks before we hop out of here? Any important things about 20-minute trader you want to get off your chest here?
Um, I don't know. I like it. I think it's a fun environment. I love talking to students. I love teaching people. We have like 6 mentors who were hired because we found that they were helping students without being paid. They were just like wanting on our platform. We just saw them helping students, and we're like, hey, why don't you work with us? So everyone who like helped students, they already wanted to help students and they love it. So we have a really cool environment, and
100%.
there's not one thing we've kind of come across that we haven't dealt with yet. So yeah, it's a really cool, fun place.
Awesome. Yeah, totally agree with you on that. So yeah, how do I master my strategy? Well, that's a tough question to answer there. How do you master your strategy? It definitely just takes time. But I think defining your trading rules would definitely help you. You know, having a max trades, max loss, and really picking one time of the day you like to trade. I think that kind of narrows it down for a lot of people. So I would start there, just making yourself a trading plan. Go to AI, help it make you a trading plan, and just kind of go from there. But I'll leave it at that, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming. Thanks, Chris, so much for being on, and we're gonna keep bringing some more guests so you guys get more insight. But thanks for coming again, and have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Thanks, guys.